You know, a lot of brothers, man, y'all don't choose women the right way. And it doesn't mean that you have to be super picky. You just have to understand when you're dealing with a concubine as opposed to a wife. Right? You don't treat a concubine the same way that you treat a wife. You don't treat a concubine with the same level of gravity and seriousness that you do a wife. And when you're dealing with a concubine, you have to evaluate her mental sanity. Why is that? Because as I've stated before, every time a woman lays down with a man, she receives the spirit of that man. She receives the DNA of that man. All those strands of data are floating around in her bloodstream. All right? Melding with her chromosomes, affecting her persona, affecting who she is. So you have to understand that, man. You run around dealing with these broads. Some of these broads out here, 22, 23 years old, have been with 20, 25, 30 men. All right? These are all things that have to be weighed in the balance before you take a female seriously, much less impregnate one. I mean, give me a break. Now, what if he had slipped up and impregnated this woman? It would have been 18 years of hell for him. Now, allegedly, she was trying to throw him off of his game by sleeping with one of his teammates and sending him text messages about it. All right? All this is his fault because of his bad decision making. He's not too swift upstairs. He's swift on the field, but not upstairs. All right? So he really needs help.
Yeah? Y'all better stop playing out here, man. Oh, boy, the gym was on point today, yes, sir. On the work, baby. On the work, baby. Gotta make the money, baby. Oh, yes, sir. Make a living, right? But, yeah, man. Y'all better stop playing out here, man. Keep trying to tell y'all. A lot of these ladies, they want to fight the idea of this whole biology. You got some simps out here doing the same thing because they want to try to pander the ladies. Oh, we gotta pander them, so we gotta say the right thing. No, the right thing is what the scriptures say. The scriptures say one flesh. That means biology. That means everything that this brother said. I came across this morning. I said, ding, 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 ding. I've been saying this. And I tell you, man, I really agree with the brother, man. Proper selection. Proper selection, man. Y'all gonna have to vet these mugs properly. And that's why I continue to say, man, it's unfortunate. And people want to talk about, quote unquote, church hurt and different things like that. It's unfortunate. But I can name the dynamics. I can name the individuals that's most hurt in the quote-unquote church. And that's why I say I don't like to use that word church the way that it's used today. I'm as a man, I'm starting to unindoctrinate myself, unlearn some things, because that's the number one thing that you got to understand. When you grow up, there is a moment that you have to take away from everything that you were under. It's not saying that you pull away from it, but it's saying that you have to have your own relationship with God. You have to have your own relationship. You have to become an adult. And in doing so, you are going to become confident enough. Hopefully, if you do the work, you're going to become confident enough to make some decisions that even if pastor was to push back on you, as long as you hear from God, that's all that matters. Because I've told y'all once, I tell you twice, and more times than that, a great part of life is manipulation. I'm going to manipulate. You know, let's start there. Everybody's going to manipulate to some degree. And that's why you have to be careful about repenting. That's why you have to be careful about, and what I mean by that is you have to do it. You have to make sure that you are clear on a daily. Because there are things that we do that we have no idea. How many times have people walked up to you? I know it's happened to me. Man, I saw you the other day and I said hello, or this, that, the other, and you really didn't hear them. You know, it's times when I've been in my zone, and it took a while for somebody to get my attention. And when they got my attention, I was just so apologetic, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's because, you know, it wasn't intentional. And you have to leave room for that, because unintentional hurts are going to happen, especially in relationship, where y'all don't give nobody no leeway. Y'all just, I'm gone, just with the quickness. That's because it's something in you that ain't mature. God ain't in you. It's really not. And it's a lot of things that need to be be dealt with the proper way, because in God you must mature. So yeah, man, when you talk about these relationships, it's a lot of area of opportunity. It's really a lot of area of opportunity, and the more willing you are, and that's what I like to deal with. I like to deal with truly willing vessels. So, you know what I'm saying? Because in order to be in God, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to drop your will, to trade your will for His. To say that anything that I think is the right way, it ain't bigger than God's. And when you get into His union, which is in covenant and marriage, when you get into that dynamic that you did not come up with, but this world has taught you that it's magical and it's Walt Disney and it's all of that stuff that goes into it that really does not go into it. When you bring that element into it, you miss His real purpose for it. To really maximize, you want to really maximize the best out of someone, especially in God, you're going to have to truly tap in. Not this act, because everything is a stage. You literally have smoking mirrors right in the quote unquote church. That's why I don't use that word like that. Because based off the scripture, I'm supposed to be the church. The individual is supposed to be the church. And so you go to these cathedrals, you go to these temples, you go to these sanctuaries, but I'm going to church. I just can't say that no more. That just sounds weird to me now. I'm going to church. Nah, I'm good. The church is always right here. Long as I got in spirit, the church is always here. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to a sanctuary. I'm going to the fellowship. But what we call churching, and we churching it today. Yeah, all that smoke and mirrors and things that you're investing to for your building. Going to make a call to Tyler Perry real quick. So for a lot of y'all, where's this new tick where y'all want to try to prove that the past don't matter? The past will always matter. And it's funny, you know, I get a lot of women. I just had somebody on my page earlier want to try to debunk and push back on what I always say, is that you can only cheat a test, you know, and talking about this honesty and all that different stuff. If you really wanted to be honest, every time you came into the door, you tell a man how many men you've been with. Because based off Ephesians 5, everything that a man is obligated to do once he actually accepts you as his woman, he has to accept exactly what the brother and myself have been talking about for the longest. He has to accept your mind. He has to accept what you have been dealing with. He has to accept what you have spliced up with over the years. And facing the past means that you're willing to face the truth. And so the reality of it is that a man can sit up there and after so long of being with you, out the gate, he can face other Negroes coming out of your spirit. So are you going to be mature enough, or even have the self-awareness enough to admit to him, baby, I had such and such partners and that's Johnny coming out of me, or blah, 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 blah. Can you do that? Because in reality, that's the kind of conversations that are supposed to be had. But you guys keep on trying to ignore that, because you tell yourselves, you have the Vegas mentality where whatever happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. Whatever happened in my past stays in my past. Nah, y'all gonna be in a bad way, because there's a lot of brothers starting to get in this word and wake up and they're understanding exactly what I'm saying, and it's not worth the hassle to accept and receive the schizophrenia of scallywags out here. Too much. That's the thing too. Like, if a man has a criminal record and let's just say he going to court, his lawyer all of a sudden said, his lawyer's already told him, I don't want no surprises. Don't tell me everything about your past. He's forced to do that because something could come up in court and mess up everything. And it applies to if you get a job and they find out that you lied on your application. That's the same way that if you as a woman had to accept a man's past and he didn't tell you about something, and then all of a sudden you pop up and find out, you'll be done. Oh, you'll be done. You'll be ready to be a battle. But then when as men find out, because you would not be real and tell them, as they find out things about your past that could affect your relationship with him, then you're upset when he steps away. Or let's be real, you're walking around trying to avoid your past because you're not mature. You're not grown enough. You're not self-aware enough. You haven't truly repented. And there is going to be a lack of growth and maturity in you because you know what your past is, but you're trying to avoid it instead of facing it. That's a problem. It's going to always be a problem when we as men and women cannot face our past, okay? We did it. It's done. What are we going to do to grow past it, not ignore it? What's up? Yeah, you don't ignore your past. You grow.
This too. And I mentioned this already in regards to the domestic violence thing. A lot of these things, these altercations between men and women, they're functions of men putting the woman on a pedestal. If you're in a dynamic where you feel like you have to hit a woman, you made a series of mistakes, man. Right? You getting involved in a physical altercation with a woman is just a culmination of all the bad decisions that you made. You made a mistake picking her. You made a mistake tolerating all the verbal assaults and disrespect that I'm sure that she volleyed your way before you couldn't take it anymore. And you've made a series of mistakes in regards to your decision-making abilities and your ability to control yourself. That's why I say, man, when you receive anything into your life, man, that's like receiving certain kind of food. You got to know what you put in your body. You got to know what you put into your spirit. You got to know what you're bringing into your life. A lot of these people got demons on them, man. A lot of these people have demons on them. A lot of these women have demons on them from receiving all these various penises, man. Receiving all this different sperm and got all this DNA floating in their bloodstream from all these different dudes. You got to be very, very wily and very careful with who you're dealing with and in what capacity you're dealing with them.